friends, Romans, everyone is welcome here at Phone Age News. Hi, I'm Nostradamus. In this video I'm going to be covering quite a bit, so I'm not going to dwell too long on any one particular article or subject. So we're going to start down in Brazil, where the collapse of global civilization is already well underway. I've just opened a nice cool can of lager to give me a bit of brain energy before I start. If anybody else is having a drink while they're listening, cheers, big ears. Right, let's get into it. This is from Energy World, from the economictimes.com. Brazil minister warns of deeper energy crisis amid worsening drought. In a televised national address preempting the nightly news, Albuquerque said that the crisis had deepened. Water reserves at hydropower plants have already fallen to their lowest level in 91 years of records. Well, it's their own bloody fault. Disturbing the hydrological cycle, cutting down the rainforests. I've no sympathy. Brazil's Mines and Energy Minister Bento Albuquerque on Tuesday warned that the country's energy crisis was worse than previously thought. Where have I heard that phrase before? As a record drought hampers hydropower generation. The rainy season in the south was worse than expected. As a result, the reservoirs of our hydroelectric power plants in the southeast and midwest suffered a greater reduction than expected. He said that as a result of the drought, Brazil had lost hydropower output equal to the energy consumed by the city of Rio de Janeiro in 5 months. Hydropower is the largest source of energy in Brazil. The minister emphasised that Brazilians must do everything possible to reduce energy usage to alleviate the crisis. Federal government agencies had been directed to cut electricity consumption by 20%. Earlier in the day, the ministry announced that the government would raise energy prices due to the drought, with affected consumers paying an average 6.78% more for electricity starting on September the 1st. Regulators have already raised prices multiple times due to the drought. The country has had to import electricity from its neighbours and boost power generation at plants burning fossil fuels, which is more costly, Albuquerque said. Yeah, he's just thinking about the financial cost. Doesn't give a damn about the cost of the environment. Let's solve it by burning more fossil fuels. Yay! The ministry also said that it had approved incentives for consumers to voluntarily reduce their energy consumption. Albuquerque appealed to Brazilians to make better use of natural light rather than electric lights and cut back on the use of electric showers, air conditioners and clothing irons. Yes, make better use of natural light. In the middle of the night. Good advice that, Mr. Albuquerque. Staying in Brazil, 2 cases of mad cow were detected in Brazil and exports to China are suspended. Here's a lovely picture of Jesus. Don't worry, I've not gone all religious on you, I'm still on the article. Let's carry on. 2 atypical cases of mad cow detected in Brazil led that country to suspend this Saturday the beef exports to China until the authorities of the Eastern Power assess the situation, according to the O Globo News Network. All health mitigation actions were concluded even before the final result was issued by the reference laboratory of the World Organization for Animal Health in Alberta, Canada. Therefore, There is no risk to human and animal health, said the Brazilian authorities. You've heard that one before. The official name of the disease is bovine spongiform encephalopathy. And in these cases, it is not the classic variant, which never occurred in the South American giants. The specimens found in the states of Minas Gerais and Mato Grosso are the fourth and fifth cases of atypical mad cows registered in more than 23 years of disease surveillance. Mad cow atypical cases occur due to a mutation in a single animal. Classic cases, when the animal is contaminated by its food, can affect more than one bovine at a time. The situation coincides with the stocks for meat exports that have been in force in Argentina since May. Joint Resolution 7 of the Ministries of Productive Development and Agriculture this Tuesday extended the validity of Decree 408 for 2 more months until October the 31st. In June, they halved the total restrictions established in May, and exports of 7 cuts were banned until the end of the year. Empty, shoulder, square, matambre, rib roast, skirt and cover, which are the most popular in the domestic market. The Brazilian Ministry of Agriculture said that the 2 cases of atypical mad cows, one in each establishment, they were detected during the inspection for deaths. These are old cows that lay in the pens. I've known a few old cows in me time. Oh look, there's Jesus again. I think he's trying to get me to accept him into my life. I'll skip a few bits here. Some people might be finding this long and boring. This year, Brazil has already exported $3.545 million in fresh, chilled or frozen meat to China. It's not so bad if it's chilled. It's, if the meat's a bit stressed out, I don't agree with that. It's animal cruelty. It's okay if it's chilled. The Ministry of Agriculture affirms that as these are atypical cases, Brazil maintains its classification as a country with negligible risk for the disease, without justifying any impact on the trade of animals and their products and byproducts. Do you know, I don't think this website gives a shit where it gets its advertising revenue from. We've got more here on Jesus, about his resurrection. And we scroll down further, and it's boobies and botties. Get a load of them. Pwah. Anyway, what's China gonna do now? Now they can't get any Brazilian beef. Well, they're gonna build a mega spaceship that's nearly a mile long. A proposal plans to study how to build a giant spacecraft. China is investigating how to build ultra-large spacecraft that are up to 0.6 miles or 1 kilometre long. But how feasible is the idea, and what would be the use of such a massive spacecraft? The project is part of a wider call for research proposals from the National Natural Science Foundation of China, a funding agency managed by the country's Ministry of Science and Technology. A research outline posted on the Foundation's website described such enormous spaceships as major strategic aerospace equipment for the future use of space resources, exploration of the mysteries of the universe, and long-term living in orbit. The Foundation wants scientists to conduct research into new, lightweight design models that could limit the amount of construction material that has to be lofted into orbit, and new techniques for safety assembling such massive structures in space. If funded, the feasibility study would run for 5 years and have a budget of 15 million yuan. What do you call a Chinese banker? A yuanker? What's Hurricane Larry up to now? Let's have an update. I'm a bit early tonight. It's 10 past 10 on a Sunday evening here in the UK. And it's taken a turn to the northwest. So luckily New York's not going to get battered by this. The high pressure system to the north has collapsed a little bit, allowing it to move more in a northerly direction. Zoom Earth has it staying below major hurricane strength, but as a very long-lived Category 3 before it gets into cooler waters and starts to dissipate. It doesn't quite reach the very warm waters to the west. It is actually going to skim Bermuda. Here's a close-up of the last 24 hours of Hurricane Larry. Fantastic. Here's the GFS latest forecast run. As you can see, Larry is moving northward. It's the cooler water and gets splattered by the jet stream. Its remnants end up smashing into Scandinavia, so they're going to get a lot of rain, I think. And we've got a new development in the Gulf, which looks like it plans on sticking around for quite a while. So if that's forecast correct, we're going to have some more flooding in Texas. Here's the ECMWF model showing Larry, and by the 14th, 15th it shows Larry as a very large low pressure system to the west of the UK. All that tropical air, we might get some good thunderstorms out of it. I hope the weather's been really boring here last few weeks. To do with a bit of excitement. I took this screenshot yesterday of a magnitude 3.8 very rare earthquake in Britain. Unconfirmed, it says near Gloucester, England. This apparently there's only 9 user reports, and one of them said they never felt it. Well, there was near me, not near the epicentre. It did happen at 20 to 7 Friday morning, so most people had been asleep then, and the people that felt it said it only felt weak shaking. But you can see the epicentre just to the bottom of the picture, and it's right next to a high voltage electricity pylon. Who'd have thought?
She says that the Dalek people wish to make friends with us. Food will be left for us in their great hall. We are to collect it tomorrow. Stop! How do you know you can trust the Daleks? Their ancestors waged a great war against us, destroyed our planet, caused all this devastation, but that was long ago. Now they wish to make friends with us, offer us food. There's no reason not to believe their good intentions. We will go to the city of the Daleks in the morning.
You trust the Taliban, Mr. President? You trust the Taliban, sir?
Is that a serious question?
It's absolutely a serious question. You trust the Taliban?
Back on Zoom Earth now, looking at the fires in the US. I've got the filter switched on for fires and heat sources. Just look at the smoke, it's just worse than ever. Right across. I really wouldn't like to be living underneath that blanket. Caldor fire, 215,400 acres, only 43% contained. So we've got the Dixie fire, 893,852 acres, only 56% contained. Let's see if we've got any new videos from the Dixie fire. I believe this video to be from just yesterday. Choking fumes taken from a helicopter.
I copy that, yeah, I'm good with it. I did try to make a drive back to you guys again. It's still just not a good time trying to pass. So it's hard for me to get over there and know what's going on. If you could just continue kind of be a point of contact, and if you need some of those folks that drop point 32, go and grab them.
Let's look at some of these other larger fires near Eureka. Got the Monument Fire, 179,000 acres, only 35% contained at the moment. River Complex, 121,000 acres, only 21% contained. Loads of smaller fires all up the coast. This one in Washington's been burning for over a month, and it's still only 10% contained. Look at all these in Canada. Look at this clump here. 83,000 hectares, out of control. Lytton Creek. White Rock Lake fire, 83,000 hectares, out of control. Tremont Creek fire, 63,000 hectares, out of control. Sparks Lake fire, 95,000 hectares, out of control. Everything's out of control. And they're not faring much better over to the east either. In Saskatchewan and Manitoba, a clump here. You start WE49 fire, 22,000 hectares, out of control. WE64 fire, 53,000 hectares, out of control. WE32 fire, 64,000 hectares, out of control. Some big ones down here as well. EA96 fire, 369,000 hectares, out of control. Oh, they've got that one under control. 206,000 burned, 108,000 burned. Oh, it's terrible. And just look at South America. Every red dot is a fire. We may as well have a look at Africa while we're here. Madagascar's fucked already. Half the bastard island on fire. Now for a very quick methane update.
Oh, that was a wet one.
Not a lot has happened over the past 7 days since I last reported. We've actually had a slight drop in levels in the lower portions of the atmosphere, as you can see, indicated by the blue line on the graph. However, we've had a couple of little dips in the previous weeks, so I would expect it to carry on upwards as the 3-week average is still showing a strong upward trajectory. We're 30 parts per billion higher than the low point this year. Last year the high point was just over 20 parts per billion higher than the low points, and in 2019 it was less than 20 parts per billion higher than the low point. So it is accelerating. This is showing the last 12 months of the higher portions of the atmosphere, and we also had a very slight drop in values. The drop was accountable at 477 and 300 millibars. But this was offset by a rise at 151 millibars in the upper parts of the atmosphere. And since February, we've risen almost 40 parts per billion at this part of the atmosphere.
Throw your partner across your thigh. Tickle her baby till she starts to cry. Whip her to the left, whip her to the right. Don't whip her too hard cause the jeans are tight. I think they heard the mix. Bring the beat on back out, nigga.
Now I want to get into this report from August 29th. Global warming simulation reveals possible end of El Nino La Nina temperature cycle. Surface ocean temperatures simulated at unprecedented resolution using a coupled atmosphere-ocean model. The extensive wavy cold structure in the equatorial Pacific corresponds to a tropical instability wave. Simulations were conducted on the IBS/ICCP supercomputer ALIPH. Highest resolution global warming simulation conducted to date reveals possible end of El Nino La Nina temperature cycle. The cycling between warm El Nino and cold La Nina conditions in the eastern Pacific, commonly referred to as ENSO, has persisted without major interruptions for at least the last 11,000 years. This may change in the future according to a new study published in the journal Nature Climate Change by a team of scientists from the IBS Center for Climate Physics at Pusan National University in South Korea, the Max Planck Institute of Meteorology, Hamburg, Germany, and the University of Hawaii at Manaus, USA. The team conducted a series of global climate model simulations with an unprecedented spatial resolution of 10 kilometers in the ocean and 25 kilometers in the atmosphere, boosted by the power of one of South Korea's fastest supercomputers. The new ultra-high resolution climate model simulations can now realistically simulate tropical cyclones in the atmosphere and tropical instability waves in the equatorial Pacific Ocean, which both play fundamental roles in the generation and termination of El Nino and La Nina events. Our supercomputer ran non-stop for over 1 year to complete a series of century-long simulations covering present-day climate and 2 different global warming levels. The model generated 2 quadrillion bytes of data, enough to fill up about 2,000 hard disks, said Dr. Sun Seon Lee, who conducted the experiments. Analysing this enormous data set, the team focused on long-standing problem: how will ENSO change in response to increasing greenhouse gas concentrations? 2 generations of climate scientists have looked at this issue using climate models of varying complexity. Some models simulated weaker, others predicted larger eastern Pacific temperature swings in a future warmer climate. The jury's still out, says Professor Axel Timmerman, co-corresponding author and director of the ICCP. He adds, what is common to these models is that their simulated temperatures in the equatorial Pacific, west of Galapagos, were always too cold compared to the observations. This prevented them from properly representing the delicate balance between positive and negative feedback processes that are important in the ENSO cycle. There is a tug-of-war between positive and negative feedbacks in the ENSO system, which tips over to the negative sides in a warmer climate. This means future El Nino and La Nina events cannot develop their full amplitude anymore. It's interesting, isn't it? even though the year-to-year fluctuations in eastern equatorial Pacific temperatures are likely to weaken with human-induced warming. According to this new study, the corresponding changes in El Niño and La Niña related rainfall extremes will continue to increase due to an intensified hydrological events cycle in a warmer climate, as shown in recent studies by scientists from the ICCP and their international collaborators. Our research documents that unabated warming is likely to silence the world's most powerful natural climate swing, which has been operating for thousands of years. We don't yet know the ecological consequences of this potential no analogue situation, but we are eager to find out. I've mentioned the cool blob in the Atlantic a few times in my previous videos. If we look at the sea surface temperature anomalies now at this moment, there's hardly any cool water left at all. And Climate Reanalyzer showing exactly the same thing. And we've now just hit an average reading of a whole 1 degree C higher than normal sea temperatures for the whole of the North Atlantic. Wow. Now, some of you may know this already, but if you don't, I'm sure you'll find it extremely fascinating. So, what has the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, the moon, and your fingernails all have in common? Well, they all grow at exactly the same rate. The Mid-Atlantic Ridge is spreading at so many millimeters per year. I've forgot the number. It doesn't matter. All you need to know is they're all exactly the same. The moon is slowly drifting away from the Earth at the same rate as what? Your fingernails grow. Everything is connected in this world, and I think it's truly amazing. Thank you all very much for watching my video. I hope you all come back again. If you enjoyed it, please like it. And if you loved it and you've not already, then please do subscribe. I'll leave you with the latest pictures from Hurricane Larry. He looks like a happy Larry at the moment. I'll see you all next time, if there is a next time. Take care now. Goodbye. I'm going to get a copyright ban, I am. Who cares? Cheerio!